All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Animal Squadron podcast. You're here with your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tuck.
And today we are talking about Ahsoka, of course. What else?
Oh, yeah. Chapter 3, baby. Let's get after it.
Chapter 3, this is Time to Fly, so we were wrong. They did not keep the X and X title scheme.
And that's honestly, like, I'm not going to watch the show ever again.
I know, right?
They changed the titles. Yeah, I'm so upset.
0 out of 0 show. The worst. How could Dave do this?
Yeah. That's not canonical.
Also, I did want to clarify because so we are recording this after episode 3 aired, but before episode 4, but we'll be posting out after episode airs. So if we throw out any theories that get proven wrong, just let us know.
Oh, yeah. Argue with us.
Yeah.
Call us out.
So I feel pretty confident now that I thought the trailers were over the whole show. And after today's episode, I feel pretty confident that all the trailers that we got were for just the first 4 episodes. And that makes me really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I still haven't watched the trailers, but I've seen like several scenes in there. And like one of them was Shin and Sabine fighting in a forest. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, that's going to take place like way later. And then I watched this episode. I'm like, oh, no, that's probably coming really soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there was the like blue suit that Ahsoka wears.
Yeah.
In this episode. So just one minor thing. The only thing from the trailers that has me thinking either that it may not be the first 4 episodes or it's going to be the very end of episode 4. All we saw was Thrawn's back.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So are you jumping on my theory bandwagon now?
I think so. I think you're right, Tucker. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I feel pretty confident based on today's episode that I think we'll see Thrawn and or Ezra, if not what happened to Ezra at the end of episode 4. I'm confident.
Yeah. Me too. Well,
or we'll at least be in the new place, the new galaxy maybe. But
yeah. Which
but I think the jump's going to happen.
You know what? I think this is a good little segue. A lot of people are really excited. They're like, man, this is how everything's going to go. Like, all these characters are going to end up in another galaxy, not the Star Wars galaxy. And I'm very curious as to know what your thoughts are to that, because I'm excited for them to go to another galaxy, but I don't want them to, like, permanently stay there, and that's where their Star Wars stories happen.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to happen, because like we've talked about before, like there's going to be, I mean, we already know that there's going to be a movie, right?
Right.
And supposedly Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Rebels, it's all going to collide.
Right.
And I don't see that happening in an additional galaxy, because that would mean that Mandalorian, for instance, they have to figure out what's going on, where the galaxy is, and jump to that galaxy in order to be involved.
Right.
And that seems like a lot that's going to have to happen. And so I really think what's going to happen is in Ahsoka, they're going to jump to the other galaxy. But my current theory is that Thrawn is going to figure out a way to jump back.
Yeah.
And then they'll be back in the Star Wars galaxy. Because also with the hyperspace ring, Like, one reason they're making it so big is so that they can get there and back.
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
their plan is to come back, so that's my thought.
Yeah, the whole point of the Shadow Council is that they're trying to get Thrawn back here, not go live with him over there.
Yeah. And I think probably what'll happen is the reason... Well, and also this takes place after Episode 6, so obviously we don't have to worry about the first 6 movies. And then 7, 8, and 9, I mean, as far as why we don't see them, yes, they could be dead, but then also, I mean, I think it's possible, too, that they're just doing other stuff, because the New Republic gets fractured, obviously.
Right.
And so maybe they're just not in the small scope of the movies.
Right. And, I mean, after... So I think it's like 35 years after Episode 6, so that would make it like 29, 30 years after like where Ahsoka's taking place right now. Like, these guys are old. They're done fighting.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like, all of these characters are much older than Luke and Leia. Like, Ahsoka is, I think, 17 years older than Luke and Leia.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Din is, we know he was a kid during the Clone Wars, so he's at least 10, maybe 10 years older than Luke and Leia. Like, they probably were retired at this point. Let them rest.
Yeah, that's true. And then also, I mean, like, Din, he's a human as far as we know. And, you know, as long as he has a standard human life cycle, I mean, you know, by Episode 8, I mean, the guy would be like, I don't know, 70?
Yeah.
Probably 70-something at that point. Like, you know, Papa's not fighting anymore, probably.
Papa is yelling at Mandalorian kids to get off his lawn.
That's right.
Stop jetpacking through my garden.
And then, like, Bo-Katan, like, she's almost definitely dead by the time of Episode 8. I mean, even just from old age, you know.
We love Bo-Katan, but she's old as hell at this point.
Yeah, like, no way. And then,
same thing with Hera. Okay. I think she's, you know, she's like a teen, I think, during the Clone Wars. So, again, she's probably in her 70s or 80s at this point.
Yeah, like, by the time the sequels come, I mean...
Yeah,
the sequels come out, yeah. So, I think it's pretty easily explainable why they don't show up in the sequels.
Right.
It's just because they would be too old to fight. And then also, again, the sequels, like, well, in all Star Wars movies, and all movies, just focus on whatever characters they want in the movie.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the
Other
characters outside of that scope aren't alive, or aren't even still fighting in the rebellion. They certainly could be.
Yeah.
Just not in that part of the galaxy.
I agree. So I don't think we need an extra galaxy explanation for it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And my argument would be that I think the extra galaxy thing is reaching. Like, I think that's reaching a little bit. Like, I think, like, it's perfectly possible that they will get there and back, no problem.
Yes, because so something I wanted, like, getting into this episode, something I wanted to talk about was, we knew for sure that they'd made 9 of the Super Star Destroyer hyperdrives, and it was confirmed in this episode that they have used 7 of them for the hyperspace ring. So, I mean, that is a lot of power.
And also, like, you know what
Oh, no, go ahead.
You know what I think they're doing with the other 2, maybe? Is what if they're building another Super Star Destroyer to go in the ring? Yeah.
Yeah. They're building a Chimera 2.
And then also, you know, those other 2 hyperdrives, like, I'm sure they're planning for like, what if the ring doesn't have enough energy to get back?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's probably why they're building the Super Star Destroyer too, to make sure they can get back.
Yeah,
I would think.
That's a good idea. Because I mean, whatever ship they put in there, it's definitely going to have some cargo space to hold some extra hyperdrives.
Yeah, I would think so. And then also, because their main founder owns a shipyard. I mean, I'm sure they have access to as many hyperdrives as they want.
Yeah, I agree. So we start this episode out with Sabine doing some training.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was really cool.
Yeah, getting to see Hu Yang like back at it again, training Jedi. I just really liked that.
Hell yeah,
and just getting to see like how he did it.
I liked his like flashlight lightsabers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how they were basically playing Fruit Ninja.
Yeah, they're so like chunky, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I was. Oh, good.
No, go ahead.
I was saying I also liked too how he was like keeping score.
Mm-hmm.
Like how he held all of them up, and then like you can see all the strikes.
Yeah,
it's like he was counting it up. I thought that was kind of cool.
Another savage line of not bad, but not good either.
Yep.
And then we see our classic Jedi mask down, can't see, trust the Force scene.
Yep. And also one thing that I thought was interesting was how Sabine gets mad. And that's how she's finally able to strike Ahsoka, but then Ahsoka just like kicks her feet out from under her.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I think Sabine, like maybe that's one of her main struggles is not getting frustrated and losing it.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's there for that tough love too, of like, you just got to do better than that, homie.
Yeah. So I have seen a lot of people talking online about how they think Sabine's going to turn to the dark side, but I highly doubt it. I mean, I will, if I'm wrong, I'll eat my words, but I really don't think that's the direction it's going.
No, I don't think so either. I think, especially with Ahsoka and Hu Yang at her side, I don't really think they'll let her.
Yeah. I think it might be like a Luke moment.
You mean like where she just like she loses it for a second, but
yeah,
she comes back? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I highly doubt she'll end up being like a full dark side user.
No, I think the only thing that would maybe turn her to the dark side, but I still don't think she would, is if Ezra is dead or killed in front of her.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was thinking too.
On the other hand, though, I think that her, like, especially her love for Hera, would keep her on the lights. I mean, I don't think that she would allow herself to be Hera's enemy.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. And I think that like that's just kind of like I think Mandalorians are trained to deal with death as best as you can.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, also, I mean, the girl has already lost her entire family.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really think Ezra's death would turn her.
I agree. At least not long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something else from this scene that I wanted to point out is Ahsoka has a wall of lightsabers, and there's like 9 to 10 there, which I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah, I wonder if her and Hu Yang went to the Jedi Temple and like got them from the training room or whatever.
Oh,
that'd be
yeah. Cool. Okay, I didn't even.
Because I mean, she had to go there to get Hu Yang, I would think, or go to wherever he's at.
Did the Empire just put him in prison for 23 years?
Oh, really? Is that where she got him?
I don't know. That makes me so sad. Was he just like, I hate this, but I could 100% see him like strapped to a wall in Vader's castle or something.
Yeah, I could see that. Or I could see too that and this is also pretty sad, but I could just see that they left him alive in the Jedi Temple and he was just forced to roam it for 23 years.
Nah.
Or like he was hiding and he somehow survived and then was forced to roam it for that long. Until Ahsoka finds him.
That would be awful.
Yeah. Or maybe he made it to Ilum or something and was hiding.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know he can fly a ship, so, you know.
Right.
Maybe he was lucky enough to have run.
My last thought, though, on those lightsabers was maybe... So they either found them or maybe Ahsoka and Huyang have just been, like, building them, just, like, in preparation for Luke's new Jedi Order.
Oh, that would be interesting. But I guess my only thing is, don't the crystals have, like, a personal aspect to them?
That is true, but maybe in like a hey, we know you're trying to get this started, just here's a little something to help you out, my man.
Yeah, or maybe also because I mean, I know Jedi can use lightsabers that aren't theirs too.
Yeah.
So maybe Huyang knows how to get the crystals even without the personal aspect thing, and they're just building these lightsabers.
And then they can, like, attach to themselves to the crystals once they actually, like, have them in hand.
Maybe, or, like, it's just one to get you started, and then after we win the war, then you can make your own.
Yeah, I don't know, but I really liked this scene. I thought it was very well made, and there are just so many cool details.
Yeah, I think so, too. We also see Sabine attempt to use the Force for the first time. That was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
With Ahsoka's start small line with the teacups.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this because in this scene, a lot of people are freaking out because, like, Ahsoka's like, she says that everyone has the Force, which I didn't think necessarily was a big deal because, like, it's said multiple times throughout Star Wars that everything is connected to the Force. Everyone has essentially Force sensitivity. It's just at different levels. You know,
and
on
certainly
one end,
she was taught that.
Yeah.
Sure.
On one end, you have, like, you know, Jar Jar Binks. And then on the other hand, you've got good old Annie Skywalker.
Yeah, that's true. Little Orphan Annie.
Little Orphan Annie. So I don't know. I do feel like she still added a little bit where, like, the sensitivity might be different, but with enough practice, you could still learn to wield it. How did you feel about that?
I think she's wrong, but also I really think that to her it's a fact because she was taught that again. Because I think that's a Jedi belief, is that the Force is in every living thing. Every living thing has the ability to reach out through the Force and touch it.
Yeah.
And use it and that kind of thing. And so while I think that the statement is wrong, I don't think Ahsoka knows that.
Yeah.
Like, I think in Ahsoka's opinion, everyone could use the Force and could be trained to use the Force.
Okay. Interesting.
Because that's a Jedi belief. And then also, if you think about it, quite literally, until she was a teenager, every person that she came in contact with could use the Force.
That is true. That is true.
I'm just saying, like, in her mind, I think that that's really what she believes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was very cool getting to see Sabine reach out. And I really do think she's gonna do. I wouldn't be surprised if by the next episode she at least has a minor feat within the Force. Maybe nothing major, but just something, you know?
Well, and like how they focused on the cup, it wouldn't surprise me if she's able to move the cup next episode or something. And it'll probably be something in the background that you don't really see until you watch it again, but she'll, like, you know, move it or something.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, also from this training montage, I got heavy Anakin with Ahsoka training her to survive the blaster fire kind of
yeah.
vibes.
Uh-huh.
Whenever she just, I mean, kicks the crap out of Sabine, and Sabine's like laying there like panting, like doesn't know if she's gonna get up or not, and Ahsoka's just like, let's go again.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
that was certainly how Ahsoka was trained, and I like it. And again, for Sabine, she's got to train that hard, or she's gonna
Right.
die.
Right. I agree. I
So
agree.
yeah, yeah,
Um, let's see. So next we have Hera with the Republic fleet meeting with the some council people, some senators, and our
yep.
Chancellor Mon Mothma. I gotta ask, how do you feel about Mon Mothma taking the Chancellor position?
I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because at this point, Leia is a general. Yep, and so she's clearly not the Chancellor,
Right, right.
and I think in that case, yeah, I think she's a good choice.
Yeah, I think so. I've seen a lot of hate online, not recently, but more so like I don't know, a year or two ago when it first got confirmed that she was. People were making fun of her, and I never got the hate. I know she's not like the best Star Wars character, but I don't know. She seems to care.
Yeah, and also, I mean, she's a very wealthy businesswoman who,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess she's an heiress, I should say.
Right, right.
She didn't necessarily earn that money, but she spent her whole life running businesses and running planets and stuff like that. I mean, I think she's a pretty good choice
I
for
think so,
Chancellor.
especially after seeing the Andor series.
Yeah, she's got the experience and she's got, the financial backing to run a galactic government too.
Yeah.
So,
Uh, so I wanted to ask, do you think anyone in this group are part of the Shadow Council? The like 5 senators that we saw?
that is a good question. That's a very good question. Or like, is there some sort of like fledgling Imperial Senate or something
Yeah.
that's still out there?
Like,
Because especially with Hera's line to what's his name, Xion,
mhm.
about like, were you in the war?
Yeah.
And he says no, and she says like, oh, so you just sat and watched.
Mhm.
I think that may be hinting to that he may be tied in with them somehow, and that he did just sit and watch
Yeah.
and make
You know,
money. And that's it.
so I was a little suspicious about him. I did find out that apparently his son is part of the main cast for Star Wars Resistance, which I haven't watched. And I don't think you have either, right?
No, I haven't watched it.
So I can't say for sure that he's not Imperial, but I do think that even if he is, he probably will, switch sides again at some point. But who I was really suspicious of was the lady that was arguing and saying like, "There's no Imperials. There are Imperials
Oh
in every
yeah,
level of the government, and they're all loyal to us. She's
yeah.
definitely Imperial."
Oh yeah, and they've taken what is it? They've taken loyalty oaths and stuff like that. And then Hera says that line, that fire line of like, "Oh yeah, long live the Empire." That's not like that's really patriotic or something like
Uh-huh.
that. It's pretty funny. But yeah, and the fact that she's just not willing to believe Hera about the
Mhm.
shipyard thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then
Well,
also Xion says something that I think is interesting too, where like they're talking about all that, and then he says, "Make your point," and that's it.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
basically that his mind's already made up, and he's just telling her to wrap it up. That's about it.
Yeah. Again, just
Yeah.
another like Dave Filoni moment where he's clarifying and really showing off the failures of the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I think is something that we need. It was weird it was weird jumping to the sequel trilogy and them have already failed. You know, going from episode 6 where you end with them celebrating their victory to starting episode 7 and they've already been defeated, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah, right.
So,
But I like where he's going with it. That basically, like the Jedi, that they were just so confident because they won one war that they just became blind.
Yes. Yeah. I loved Mon Mothma and Hera's discussion about Jason, you know, because they know each other. There's that personal relationship there. And so it just fits so well that of course she would ask about her son.
Yep. And how'd you feel about him not having weird green hair?
He did have weird green hair.
Jason did?
He did.
He has a normal haircut though.
He does have. Let me go look that up real quick.
I thought it was dark brown.
Maybe,
but maybe that could just be my TV too.
Yeah, I am so sorry, Bessie. I'm looking at it right now. That is vomit green. That is vomit green.
Wait, in the show, like in Ahsoka.
Yeah, let me
look it up here. I'll look it up.
I was gonna screenshot it and send it to you, but then I remembered they have their anti-piracy system that'll just black out my screenshot. But yes.
Wow, I guess it is my TV.
I did not like the hair. But what I will say is if any of you bully this kid, I will personally come to your house and beat you. Okay?
Yes.
I'm so tired of people bullying kid Star Wars actors.
Do not Jake Lloyd this kid.
If you
Please.
Jake Lloyd this kid, I will burn down your house.
I agree. Like, do not Jake Lloyd people. That's not nice.
Yes. Just in general, don't Jake Lloyd people. But also this kid specifically.
Yeah. Because I think he's doing a pretty good job. It's not his fault that they made him have green hair, which I just realized. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think personally, and this is not the kid's fault. This is a Dave Filoni choice. I think I would have preferred if he would have had, like, green skin, didn't have the tentacles like Twi'leks have. What I can't remember what they're called.
They're head tails.
Yes, didn't have the head tails, and maybe had, like, normal human hair. I think that would have been a better like, hybrid, I guess, than just a normal human with green hair. Because, like, I could have green hair, and you know what? I did have green hair like that, and it looked just as bad.
Well, and Sabine's got purple hair. That doesn't mean that her mom was a purple Twi'lek, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a design choice.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I kind of wish that they had just made him look like Kanan.
Yeah.
And just call it good. Like, I mean, that would have been fine.
So I'm looking at it right now, and talking about Kanan. His right shoulder, I believe he has Kanan's, like, shoulder piece on.
Oh, the pauldron? Nice.
Yeah. And I really love this scene because he's specifically like, I want to be a Jedi, and, like, actually, I'm really torn because I'm like, yes, follow in your father's footsteps, but also, please don't go to Luke's temple, please, I'm begging you, Jason.
Yeah, that's true. And then also, with that line, I really do like Hera's reaction too, where, like, she's obviously trying to shelter him as much as possible from being a Jedi.
Yeah.
And I just like, you know, I think that's really realistic.
Yeah.
His mama loves him.
Mama loves him, and Mama is very sad about how his dad died.
Yeah.
I am a little worried because, like, her fleet, I think, is going to be target number 1 when Thrawn comes back.
Her fleet?
Yeah. Because I think that's like the
Maybe.
main New Republic fleet. So if they can take that fleet out, the New Republic's going to be in a really bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, excuse me. Ugh. Also, I don't think they're gonna kill Hera.
I don't either.
I really don't.
But I think it is going to... I do think we're going to get some intense scenes where it might seem like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe that'll be the first battle, but I don't think Hera or Jason will die.
Yeah.
Or Chop. I think all three of them will probably make it.
I genuinely am worried about Jason going to Luke's school, though. This has been keeping me up at night.
Yeah, I think honestly what they would do is just never give us an answer entirely. Like maybe the last time we see Jason, he is walking into Luke's temple, and that'd be it.
I would cry.
You just never hear about it again.
Ben better hit him with the, "Hey man, you were nice to me. Don't come to school tomorrow."
Yeah, I hope so. Oh, I hope so. Don't come to school tomorrow. But also, I mean, with Luke's thing, I mean, there were survivors, right? Did Kylo Ren kill all of them?
Well, so in the comics, it's actually not. It's not Kylo who does it. It's actually Palpatine. He sends a Force lightning bolt and sets the school on fire and kills everyone in the school.
Oh. Okay.
But there are 3 survivors that think Kylo did it and go after him, and Kylo then kills the 3 of them.
Oh.
And so it really, like, at least from what we were told in the movie and in those comics, it really is just Kylo and Luke. They're the only ones that made it.
Interesting. I mean, I also think it's safe to say that this could be another Order 66 situation where we find out later that a bunch of people lived.
Yes.
Who knows? Yeah.
I hope so. I think it'll be a little harder to do because, like, they really went ham on the fact that Luke is the last Jedi. There are no others. Luke is our only hope. And now Rey. So I do think it would be kind of weird if they were like, oh yeah, the Resistance also had like 3 or 4 other Jedi helping us.
Yeah.
We just never talked about them.
Exactly. For obvious reasons that aren't obvious.
So I think next we have the scene where Huyang and Ahsoka are talking, and he hits her with the Jedi Order would have never accepted Sabine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing I like is one thing he says is he talks about how Sabine fits right in from like her long line of unorthodox Jedi. And I was like, I kind of like that. That's a cool statement.
Yes.
And if you think about it, I mean, Huyang, in his mind, the Jedi Order was the right way to go. I mean, that's his programming. And Ahsoka even mentions it later whenever he starts saying something to Sabine, and Ahsoka's like, well, Sabine says, like, why did you say that or whatever? And Ahsoka turns to Sabine and says, programming.
Right.
And I think that's true. Like, I think just for Huyang, he can't not be an old Jedi Master. That's just how he sees the world.
Yeah, I agree. And talking about the lineage there, I mean, I just wanted to point this out. We had Yoda, who trained Dooku, who trained Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, Sabine. Like, what a great line.
Oh, yeah, and then also on top of that, too, with the people that, like, Ahsoka was surrounded by and close to, you've also got Plo Koon and Kit Fisto, which, like, both of them are pretty unorthodox, too.
Right.
Like, literally,
right.
like, all the Jedi that loved her were considered not extremists, but, like, as far as, like, ideologically, they would be kind of outsiders to the Jedi.
Yeah, I agree. And then something else from this scene, Huyang's talking about tradition and stuff, and Ahsoka has a line where she's like, or I think it's when he says that they would have never accepted her. She says something about how, and the Jedi failed. Like, yeah, they had their ways, but it didn't quite work out for them, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we just real quick, we get the confirmation that Hera's meeting didn't go as they hoped, and that the fleet isn't coming, which sure does suck, huh?
Yep. But also, I think it's going to lead up to my theory earlier of them having to sneak on to the hyperspace ring.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huyang. I think they're going to have to be stowaways.
Yeah, I think so. Because there really is no other way. Like, they can't. There's no way they could just build another 9 Super Star Destroyer hyperdrives in enough time.
Well, and also, you can't build it because also the only person that you could get the hyperdrives from is evil and made the hyperspace ring.
Right.
She's obviously not going to give them to you, so.
So we get them landing right outside the system, and of course, movie magic, the ring is on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, I did like Huyang's line about that being standard Jedi protocol whenever a situation's unknown is to come out of hyperspace early.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but if you notice in Attack of the Clones, doesn't Obi-Wan come out really early for Geonosis?
Yeah.
And like he flies in and like he's clearly a pretty long distance away. And also same thing with Luke and Obi-Wan in A New Hope with the Death Star.
Yep.
They're pretty far away. Like, it really is Jedi protocol. I liked learning that. Like, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think this moment right here is the exact moment where everything goes wrong for the New Republic. Them deciding not to send their fleet here causes... It's like the big domino that starts knocking down all the other dominoes. Because think about it. The Shadow Council here had the hyperspace ring. They had a couple fighters. I didn't see a single Star Destroyer. If they could have sent their fleet in, they could have destroyed this thing, and it would have been done. There would have been no getting Thrawn. I'm guessing that not in the Ahsoka series, but in the movie, essentially those are going to be a big war, and that's going to really cripple the New Republic, and that's how the First Order is then able to rise up and get a foothold. All of that could have been averted if they just listened to Hera.
Yeah, and actually, I think you're exactly right. I really think that this will be kind of... Have you ever seen those memes or like heard that like the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, which caused World War One, like that one bullet caused World War II directly?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same situation we got here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't have a lot of notes here. I
have one.
Oh, go ahead.
What do you think about the ships that Shin and the homies fly up in?
That literally was what I was about to say. I love their ships. I was really excited to talk to you about this because as a history person, you know, I feel like you would probably be... I was thinking, man, Tuck's going to love this because to me, they look like old World War One, maybe World War II fighter planes.
Yeah, they look like early sealed cockpit fighter planes. Also, one thing I thought was interesting too is the way that they look. In my opinion, they almost look like they took pieces from a Naboo starfighter and then they took pieces from like a CIS bomber and like put them together.
Yes.
Because it's got the sealed cockpit like the CIS bomber, and then also like American fighter planes too. It's that kind of, the cockpit goes up and back, you know? And, you know, so I like that. And then the the wings and how they're kind of angled reminded me of Naboo starfighters. And so I bet these things are incredibly fast and also incredibly easy to target and fly and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. They were so cool. We get to hear Merrick's voice here, because last episode all we heard him was grunt, and I'm not entirely convinced, but I am starting to think that it is at least Sam voice acting this character.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like him with a voice changer.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
I don't think it's Starkiller. Personally, I don't want it to be Starkiller, but I feel pretty confident it's Sam at least acting.
Yeah, and what'd be kind of cool is if they tie it into like the Starkiller program.
Oh yeah.
Like he is a Starkiller clone. He's just not the one from the video game. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be interesting, especially with all the cloning that, we see. It's very important in Mandalorian, the Bad Batch. That could be really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I would have no problem with that if that's how they brought him in.
Shin has the same headpiece that Obi-Wan and Annie had in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which I loved that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it almost kind of reminded me, like, her flying it of that scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was shot
like, even though
very
she was too
similarly.
young, but, like, it almost felt like she flew in the Clone Wars. But also she was trained by someone who flew in the Clone Wars, so.
Right.
It makes sense, yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to look up at the moment what their spacesuit was called. That it is the EVA suit, EVA suit. These are the suits that we saw in Clone Wars for. Like, we saw several episodes where they were fighting in space with these suits. We saw some, at least, that was a whole arc. So several episodes where they were fighting underwater with these suits.
Yep.
So it was really cool. Again, just the shoulder piece also had the Galactic Republic symbol on it. So, like, this is an old suit.
And it's her old suit, which I think is awesome.
And I love that it, like, her Laikatus, that I think that's how they're pronounced. I also think that's the thing from Mario. It, like, fit around them. It wasn't just, like, a big helmet. There was, like, individual, like, tubes for them to go into. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. No, I liked it, though. And how one of them, like, the one for her back head horn thingy, was also the oxygen supply. Like, I thought that made a lot of sense. That is cool.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, I really liked it. I loved I thought it was so cool, her getting out and, like, blocking the blasters, and she did a flip like Rey does in episode 9, to destroy the ship. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
also I like how they did this versus, like, weird space Leia.
yes.
Where, like, she somehow doesn't, like, she just somehow survives the vacuum of space. Like, I liked how they actually gave a real reason this time.
Yes, and, like, she needed some help getting back to the ship. She couldn't just, like, Mary Poppins her way back. I thought this was done much better.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And her line where she's floating and she's like, "Fix the ship yet?" Classic Ahsoka.
And also, she's just floating helplessly. Like, that's also classic Ahsoka, like, still saying something sassy when the cards aren't even in your hand. Like, you're just still saying stuff.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was so happy because I was like, I needed, like we talked about in the episode 1 review, they felt just very, like, stoic, which I think fit for what they needed at the time, but we're getting more to, like, the funny, sassy kind of Ahsoka, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're getting snips rather than Ahsoka.
We're getting snips.
And I like it.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
I like that Huang, they finally get him back online, and he's like, what did I miss?
Yep, and then they start talking, like, he starts telling them about the Purgle, And they're like, yeah, they're like the ones we just saw. And he's like, we saw some?
I forgot about the Purgle. I was so hyped. When I saw them.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Before the Purgle, real quick, just backtracking back to the ring.
Yeah.
So after they get the ship fixed, then, or no, and the reason they needed to get the ship fixed was the hyperspace ring has guns on it.
Right.
I think that's wild. And also, I really liked how, speaking of like historical type scenes in Star Wars, the way that those lasers worked out of that cannon and how they would explode early.
Yeah.
Like they're high explosive laser rounds. And I just think that's really cool because that's actually how anti-aircraft ammunition works.
Yeah.
Is it's meant to explode outside the hull and then shrapnel penetrates. And so I'm assuming they kind of have the same idea here to penetrate shields and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just like the idea of Star Wars high explosive rounds. I just think that's awesome.
Me too. It looked really good. Something else I loved about this is that clearly Morgan and Shin, there's some animosity between them because Morgan, they shoot down or they, stall out Ahsoka's ship, and Shin's like, what did she say?
Congratulations, you almost got them.
Yes. I loved that line. It was so sassy.
Yeah, I kind of like it just because I don't know, but the animosity to me currently feels like it comes from Shin like hating Morgan and not necessarily the other way around. And the reason I think that is because I think Shin hates Morgan kind of out of a jealousy thing, maybe. And the reason I say that is like, I had to be an orphan and live through Order 66, and you just sat on your shipbuilding planet and made billions of dollars.
Yeah,
like,
that does kind of suck.
It seems like an anti-establishment kind of jealousy.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just something I pulled out of that one scene, but
yeah.
And I mean, Shin seems a little bit like a bit of a rebel and a bit of a anti-establishment kind of person.
Yeah.
Kind of a Rage Against the Machine listening kind of person.
And you know what? We love it.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so onto the Purgles. I don't really have much note, just that like was so excited to see them live action, and the fact and just like the hope in Ahsoka and Sabine's eyes when they realize like this is their migration pattern, like we're here, we're where we're supposed to be, just made me really happy.
Yeah, well, and actually, just throwing something out there, being that their ship is messed up, what if they find a way to befriend the Purgles again, and that's how they get to the galaxy?
Oh,
is with the Purgles.
Yes,
maybe,
that's such
maybe
a good
that's
idea,
their hope.
Tug.
Yeah, maybe that's their hope. Maybe they don't have to be stowaways on the hyperspace ring.
Okay, hell yeah.
I could see Dave Filoni doing it too.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Ezra is the only Jedi we've seen with the. No, he's not. I was gonna say with the like animal connection ability.
Mm-hmm.
I know for sure like Anakin or Obi-Wan had something similar in the Clone Wars, but I couldn't remember exactly who. But you know
it's
who
Obi-Wan.
I know. You know who I know for sure has it?
Ahsoka,
because of the Tales of the Jedi episode.
Well, and maybe that's where they're leading us to.
Okay,
because I mean, Tales of the Jedi conveniently came out last year before Ahsoka.
That is very
with that scene
true.
in it. Maybe. Yeah, we're just donning our aluminum foil hats here, but
yeah. And you know what? Let's see. We're recording on Sunday, so we only have 2 more days till we find out.
Yeah, it's true. But with the Purgle thing too, another thing I really enjoyed was just the acrobatic space battle inside of the Purgle herd.
Hell yeah.
I just thought that was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Very Rebels-esque, and I liked it.
Yeah, for sure. I really like the planet they're on. Like, they hid underneath the, like, red trees, and I don't know. I just thought it was pretty. It was a pretty atmosphere. Pretty landscape.
Well, something you said in an episode was you kind of wish that Star Wars was better at using color palettes when it comes to planets. And I was watching, I was thinking about you. I was like, oh, Elijah's getting his wish.
I am getting my wish. What was it? I can't remember what we were talking about because
I think it was Visions. I think it was that episode.
I think so.
Because there's a lot of really colorful. Oh yeah, it was the last episode of Visions for season 2, with the little was it an Australian studio or South African? Oh, it's South African.
Yeah,
and it was that girl
the
that
song.
Could heal the crystals with her song. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oz song. Yeah.
Hell yeah. For sure.
Yeah, that's what it's because that's so colorful and it's a beautiful, beautiful episode.
So yes,
even though it's not canon.
It's canon in my heart. I was very excited. Let's see. Oh, I feel like I had one more note here.
Is Cetos the planet from Tales of the Jedi that Mace Windu and Dooku look for that look for that dead Jedi?
Oh, maybe. I can't remember.
Because the trees gave me that vibe big time.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it definitely is very similar.
I'll Google it real quick.
And I think while you're looking that up, the last note that I really have is I like Balin's little like group of assassins that he has. So we had HK droids, and then we also had the guys that we saw in the ships earlier that I don't know who they are off the top of my head, but there's a lot of them between the two groups, and I think the next episode will essentially start with most of them getting murdered. Like I think it's going to be very action packed. It's going to be Ahsoka and Sabine fight off the assassins, then they fight off Shin and Morok, and then our final confrontation for the mid-season with Balin. I think we're gonna be eating good next week.
Oh, as far as lightsaber fights and stuff, yeah. No, I think it's gonna be. I think this next episode, like Tuesday's episode, I think is gonna be our battle until the end, like trying to get the hyperspace ring functioning and lift it off. And so I think like it's going to be like a race against time kind of thing, and Ahsoka and Sabine are having to fight all of these assassins, just waves of them.
Yeah.
And then Sabine's going to fight Shin, and then I think Ahsoka's going to fight Balin or Merrick. I don't know which one. Maybe both.
Maybe both.
And then I think at the end of the episode, they're going to jump. And that's going to be our, like, we failed halfway through the season kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, which, again, you know, you guys will be listening to this after episode 4 has come out. So if we're wrong, just let us know. animalsquadron@gmail.com. Feel free to tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I had for the episode. Do you have anything else, my friend?
Not really. Before I forget, I did look it up. It's Raxus Secundus.
Okay,
is
gotcha.
what episode that is from Tales of the Jedi. I mean, it's the planet from Tales of the Jedi that I was thinking of. But very similar trees. That's it. That was pretty much all I was going to say. Yep.
You know, and we love trees here at the Animal Squadron.
Especially Star Wars trees.
Hell yeah. But that's all you got, my friend?
Yeah, that's it.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Animal Squadron. We really appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to be a part of this conversation, which we would love for you to be, of course, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com. Send us questions, complaints, argue with us, compliments. We'll take anything. Weird photos of Jabba the Hutt, really pixelated.
We love it all.
whatever you have for us.
Yeah, we love it all,
also-
and we love you all.
Exactly. Also,
Yep.
if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review wherever you're listening, that would help us out a ton. And if you're listening on Spotify, the question of the week will just be a very simple, what did you think of Ahsoka Episode 3? Once again, for the Animal Squadron, thank you for listening, and this has been Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tech.
Goodbye, everybody!
Adios.